Hey, what's up folks, Graphics Rogue here. I got another online replay for you from Rome 2. I will be playing as the Seleucids and my opponent will be playing as the Massagetae. I think that's how it's pronounced, but I don't know. So, I'll see you on the battlefield. And welcome one all. The battle has commenced. So, most of my army is consisting of pikemen, some thorax pikemen, somewhere in there, and some thorough spears, mostly some Persian light archers, eastern slingers, and an archer unit. Thinking back on it now, I shouldn't have chosen any archers, because they are weaker than the slingers, and they are just, they're less useful than the slingers, but I used them because I wanted to have a range advantage. But that didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. But this is interesting. This is the first online fight I've fought so far. My opponent was fully horse archers. Or not horse archers, but completely cavalry. No infantry whatsoever. And looking back on it, I think the Massagetae, I don't think they have any infantry. I think it's all cavalry for these guys. My opponent's picked a lot of noble horse archers, some generals of noble horse archers, some noble steppe lancers, and I see his cavalry start to hit to the side there. So I put out my pikemen on the side here to try to dissuade him from coming through this area. But I start to move ahead my my missile units because I wanted to get some pots off at him. But he decided to charge them with his noble lancers, but I put up my pikemen. But unfortunately, I put up my missile units here because I wanted to get us some flanking fights. But unfortunately, I didn't have them backed up enough, and he saw that, and he stopped his charge onto these missile units, didn't hit my pikemen, and he went right for these missile units, which he will give a devastating barrage about. He'll knock a ton of them down, knock a ton of them out. And now with that, so with him starting on that flank, he's starting to move around his noble horse archers on the extreme ends of my other flank. And now I notice he's moving the rest of his cavalry on the extreme end of my right flank here, and he's knocked out a ton of missile units here. All because I wasn't paying attention, and I wasn't keeping an eye on where my missile units were and what was not defending them. But I see that now he is starting to really flank me. He is getting on all edges of my army, and this is when I decide to put in a pike box, or as some call it, a noob box. I start to realize that there's not much I can do but get my army in a box formation, get my missile units inside the box, and just prepare myself for any cavalry charges. And see, he sees an opening here, and he starts to charge in his cavalry units. So I try to pull them back, but I'm going to counter these cavalry with my Indian armored elephants, which are pretty devastating. And they got a deadly charge on a lot of my missile units. So, what we don't want to do fighting a horse faction is lose a crap ton of missile units early, just like I have done. I have lost a lot of missile units, and I was barely able to save some of these guys. And I'm starting to focus fire these guys some on these horse archers over here, trying to do a Canterbury circle, trying to focus fire their guys onto my guys, and they're starting to slaughter my missile units with their arrows. But they finally see that this is a fight they're not going to win against all these pikes and this elephant, so they start to move these cataphracts back. But they're also peppering more of my eastern slingers and my missile units from all sides, from the general back here to the units over here. They're trying to knock out my missile units early. I need to move all my missile units in the front. I decided to charge my thorough spears at these horse archers and focus fire on them because I want to drive them off. I'm sick of them fucking with my shit. So, it works out here though. We start to drive them off. My thorough spears are scaring the horse archers off, and at least I get a little bit of a reprieve from them trying to destroy my missile units. And I finally decided to pull him back. And I drove off this noble horse archer because he was hitting a lot of my missile units in the back there. But on the way back, they're getting some pot shots taken at them, but they'll be fine for now. I'm starting to move up my, starting to position my pike box in a better formation. There's a lot of gaps, and I wasn't paying too much attention to my formation, which I should have, because it's very distracting having all these forces completely surrounding my army, and he is once again taking shots at my missile units and my pikemen here, and one of them routed. They might come back, I'm not sure, but they're not doing so good. But my focus fire I've been putting up on these noble horse archers has begun to work. I'm slaughtering a lot of their horse archers here. Killed a lot here, I routed that unit right there. And now I'm starting to focus fire on these horse archers in this area. Putting my my pikemen in a crescent formation to make sure they don't try to bust through. I feel like this is the best formation because their forces are relatively light on this end. Only one unit over here. So just two units I feel is sufficient, plus the elephant to protect my flank back here. But they're really killing me with these horse archers and the arrows. My pikemen are getting shredded by these horse archers. They are focus firing on them, and they sent back their horse archers here to attack my guys some more. But I decided to attack them again with this pikeman to try to drive them off, which kind of works. They're kind of being driven off here.
Orders understood.
As you can see, he's already starting to rout one of these pikemen unit, and they are routed. One of my missile units has come back, which is good. But I'm starting to maneuver my missile units back over in this way because I know I really need to start dealing with all these horse archers, especially because they're very clumped in, and I can get a lot of good kills over here. But my trying to drive these guys off didn't work as well as last time. They didn't go far enough out. And plus, they killed a lot of my pikemen while they were going back to retreat back to their line. And now they are back to just pummeling away at my guys. At my pikemen and my missile units. They know they have to take my missile units out first off and foremost. And then they can use their missile units to start focus firing on my pikemen. But I'm starting to tear up some of his horse archers over on this side. This unit's gone, so I'm going to send up my thorough spearmen to try to plug the hole. Gotta try to get as few holes in this formation as I can. And I'm losing another missile unit. These slingers aren't going to last too much longer. Yeah, they're done for. Our focus firing is doing help, but they've got so many horse archers. And at this point, I know that I'm running down on men and ammo for my horse archers. The best I can hope for. Try to focus fire on these clumped up horse archers here, and I'm getting a lot of kills. And that's good. But the best thing I can hope for at this point is just wait for them to run out their missiles, wait for them to run out of ammunition, and then hopefully I can deal with whatever they got left with whatever I have left after their ammunition is all gone. Because my ammunition is running low and so is theirs. They might be out of ammunition. They've not even firing. They might be out of ammunition. These guys, they still have some ammunition left, I think. Or maybe they're just riding around a circle. Not sure, but ammunition is running low for all of us, and they are starting to decide the best course of action. They see my flank over here is pretty weak. They're starting to flank over with these cav. While over here, they decided to hit a hard charge. They tried to hit the flank of my thorax pikemen, but too many of them got into the way of my spears, and it just slaughtered them. They didn't rout, but it was not a good attack for them. They tried to hit me in the flank here, which is always a good idea. You don't want to try to hit the front of the spears, but too many of them got caught up in the spears. And my missile units, what I have left, is finally starting to work its magic on these horse archers here. They finally started to Canterbury and circle here, so I didn't get so many kills on them, but these guys are already starting to rout. And they've sent the noble horse archer general unit up here, try to get some free shots on my on one of these units. I would expect them to try to hit my my armored elephants, but they're just trying to distract me, hitting me from all corners. And right here, they're just trying to really distract me here. They're charging. They keep charging, then pulling off, and charging and pulling off, which is a great maneuver. They keep attacking these pikemen, lone pikemen out of there. They keep trying to get us out of the way. And they charged to try to distract me over here, and they knew enough to, my opponent knew enough to charge my thorough spears instead of my pikemen. And it really broke my spears up, and they charged and they go away. They charged and they go away. That's a great maneuver right there. I decided to charge out my eastern slingers over here because I know they're out of ammo and they're really no use inside the pike box right now. So I charged them at the horse archers here to try to drive them off, just in case they have more ammunition, which I probably think they do at the point. But they slaughtered another. It seems they've slaughtered so many more pikemen. And my lines are getting really thin, so I'm pulling in my pike box. I'm getting things a little closer, and they see I'm a little off here, and so they charge me. Devastating charge into the flank of my thorough spear over here. And this slinger is getting ready to rout. But I see the charge, and I react with my armored elephants. But now he's... yeah, these noble horse archers must be out of ammo, so they decided to charge over here in the corners of this area over here. They decided to charge in the corner of this box over here, but they get way too many of their guys stuck on my pikes, and it was a massacre. They were, I think they were trying to go through the gap here, but too many of them caught in the pikes, and it was a massacre, and that was done for. And we drove off their charging shot over here, so we started to pull them back. But now they're charging again. But again, too many of their cavalry get caught up on my pikes while they're aiming a massive, huge charge on my thorough spears. What they're doing here is they're trying to hit one massive, huge charge on my weakest corner over here, trying to knock out my thorough spear, which they are doing. And then they'll have a gap in my lines, and they were going to smash through and hit my pikes from the back. I decided to react from their charge over in this flank, trying to knock out my other thorough spears with my elephants. And I'm reacting over here, just re-maneuvering my pikemen, but that's just what he wanted, so he charged the back of my pikemen with his cavalry over here. And that was a devastating move, and he sees that. But he also sees that this unit wasn't strong enough because it got weakened by pike charges before, so it wasn't able to get as devastating a charge in the back as he wanted. But now he's starting to charge in recklessly at my pikes and getting a lot of people killed, and I keep backing them up with my elephants and my other pikes. But I am losing a lot of units. I've lost all my missile units. I've lost most of my pike units. I think all my thorough spearmen are gone. And he tried to hit me in the corners of my pike here on my weakest pike. I suppose it would have been a good idea. This is one of the weakest pike units right now. They keep trying to hit me in the corners, which is a great idea. That's what you want to do, but too many of them are getting caught up in the spears. And these cavalry getting slaughtered on the spears is just a game ender. They keep hitting the spears far too much. They keep trying to make a weak point, but I think my opponent at this point decides that it's just there's nothing much more he can do. He's out of missile units, so he just keeps charging, pulling out and charging wherever he thinks he can get some kind of advantage. But like over here, there would have been no advantage. He fully charged on these pikemen here. Then I backed him up with my elephants, and he knows there is not much left he can do. His heavy cavalry is really weakened. His what missile cavalry left he has is really weakened. and I have my pike units have been really weakened, but I have enough to deal with any assaults that he has going, that he can throw at me, and I haven't lost but a single elephant unit, or 2 elephant units. I think that counts for the infantry, maybe? Yeah, but I barely lost any elephant units, and I'm just still ready to smash his cavalry with my elephants. And once more, he tries to hit my flank of my pikemen over here. He's just trying to devastate my morale with his numbers, but my pikes will take it all from the front and give it all back. Tried to hit my flank over here, but it wasn't working out for him. And he knows it's over, so he's just trying to give as many devastating charges as he can. His men are routing. The Saka army is beginning to rout. That was a really cool battle. That was a really nail biter, because I lost a lot of missile units in the beginning, and I wasn't sure how I was going to deal with that. I knew the pike box was going to work wonders for me, but I knew he had a lot of horse archers, and I thought he was going to melt a lot more of my pikemen away, and he almost got me. If I had made a few more mistakes, and if I didn't have so many missile units by the time I got into the pike box formation, he would have had a lot more horse archers to start focus firing on a lot more of my men. Maybe he should have been aiming more at my Indian armored elephants, putting to use the stupid fire arrows for the horse archers to try to berserk them. That's what I would have tried to done, if he does have horse archers. I mean fire arrows. I'm pretty sure he does have fire arrows, because I think all horse archers have fire arrows. But yeah, that was a really cool battle. That's pretty much a basic tutorial on how you can defend against a horse army. Unlike my last battle, which I played with this opponent, he was Carthage, I was Parthia. I pretty much enacted the same tactics he did, and from that battle he saw my tactics and decided to employ those tactics into what I was doing. Trying not to engage, hitting my flanks, keeping the horse archers out of range of my missiles and infantry. But unlike him, I wasn't chasing around his cavalry all scattered and trying to one unit trying to chase his cavalry around like he was doing as Carthage in that other bout we had together. I kept in a nice formatted box formation, kept what missile units I had left inside the box formation, and just waited for him to make his moves. And that's the only way I can figure how you can play against a mostly horse army based horse faction. So yeah, that was a great battle. That was a fantastic battle. I'm your graphics rogue, and I will see you next time. Peace.